Hello and welcome to another fabulous episode of the Bourbon Brothers. I'm Cocktail Kevin and I'm here with my good friend
Straight Up Kelly.
And hey, before we get started, last week we had a really good episode traveling out west. But I told Kelly before we get started, since we went out west, I come up with this drink called the Gold Nugget. Obviously, everybody was traveling out west to find the pockets of gold in Alaska or California during the gold rushes. So I'm going to start off. Let me get a little piece of bourbon here, and I'm going to take one of our starters today that Kelly and I will talk about. And I start off with some ice, and then about a shot to a shot and a half of bourbon. I'm heavy on the shot and a half. Kelly will tell you that. But so for the Gold Nugget, any choice of bourbon you like, and then you add your blonde yellow drink. I'm happy to choose some Fanta pineapple today. Not that we're sponsored by any of those guys. And that, my friends, is going to be my cocktail of today, the Gold Nugget. I'll try to bring a new drink every week just to change of pace. But now Kelly and I are not going to give up on our samples. And today I think we've got a pretty good selection. You can give a stir with this if you have a stir stick. I don't, so I'm just going to drink away. But there you go, the Gold Nugget. So in honor of traveling out west last week, I come up with the Gold Nugget. But today, Kelly and I, we sticking with that theme of traveling, we wanted to share Traveler's whiskey, right?
Traveler's whiskey. Go ahead and hold it up for the camera right there. And Traveler's is, this is Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace.
In collaboration with Chris Stapleton.
Yeah, country artist right here from Lexington. Yeah.
This comes in at 90 proof. And
that good range that you and I both like.
Between 90 and 100 range is very nice. We did do some extra research on the webpage, and they do not have an actual age statement, but it is an NAS according to what we were able to determine.
So no age state, an NAS. There's several bourbon companies out there, and a lot of times when they do a collaboration with a famous star or something like that, they don't always want to reveal, hey, it was a 2-year-old bourbon or 8-year-old bourbon, 6-year-old bourbon, 10-year-old bourbon, whatever. So they'll just list it as a NAS or a non-age stated bourbon, right? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So out of Frankfurt, and Kelly, you've already got some poured for us here. So let's check out the color on this one. Yep. And we've got a super new light system here. And it shows up the color real well on these, doesn't it, Kelly?
Yeah, I think a nice golden amber.
I like that.
I'm picking up.
I like that.
Yep.
All right, and we'll give it a sniff. Go to our nose.
Yeah, let's give a nose here.
Ooh,
a very pleasant nose. Very not overpowering at all.
No.
Sweet.
I do a lot of the Travelers. As you can tell, the bottle's almost empty. I don't really give a lot of thought to it when I'm making cocktails, going back and forth. But when you and I actually sat down and discuss some of these bourbons, I learn a lot, not just from you and your nose, because you got a great nose for a lot of these, Kelly. But I mean, I just think every week I'm discovering new things. So
yeah,
this one also it is very pleasant to the nose. It's I almost want to say it's sparkling.
Sparkling.
Or maybe it's butterscotch.
I'm picking up almost floral.
Really?
Yeah, I'm picking up floral on this.
you had some herbal on me last week too.
Yeah,
so
I'm getting floral on this, which is it's nice, it's pleasant.
I can get that. So all right, so let's do our mouthfeel and swallow and see what it's like. Ooh, no burn, none. I didn't get any burn.
Oh wow, interesting. I picked up a little burn on the front end.
I didn't see, and I didn't.
Wow. Okay.
It was real pleasant on the tongue. I let it set on the tongue for a moment, guys. I didn't really get anything. Kick back my swallow. A lot of times people just do shots, but that one really was. It to me, it was hit the tongue, hit the palate, went straight back.
Yeah, it was nice. It was for me. I got a little burn on the front end, but then as it went down, it was smooth.
Yeah. Some spices, maybe.
I did. I think it does have some spice, and then of course the cinnamon,
caramel apple, or not apple, caramel vanilla. We find these a lot in all of our bourbons, the caramel vanilla.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But I think I got a lot more spice on this one. But yeah, the back end going down was definitely smoother, pleasant.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that. That was nice. So again, in sticking with our theme, last week Kelly and I kind of left bourbon country and tried some whiskeys as we travel out west. Today we decided to travel with travelers right back to the state of Kentucky, or at least we're traveling back east. Let's say it. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And I'll share that with you because our next one's going to be Bullet.
One of my favorites.
One of my favorites. We both really enjoy.
Yeah.
But now this is a special kind of Bullet, correct?
This is.
I mean, they make a straight bourbon. They make a rye. So Bullet's got some flavors, but this one here is special because it's the uncut. Is that right?
It's the uncut. It's the barrel strength.
Barrel strength uncut of Bullet. And I think this one comes in pretty potent.
Yeah, this one comes in at actually about 120.1 or 0.2 proof.
And again, a corked bourbon. You're back in Kentucky. We're getting our corked bourbons back.
If you got the cork, you got good bourbon.
Good bourbon, yeah. So Kelly's going to pour some on that Glencairn. We're using our Glencairn glasses here for our samples and tastes, and still enjoying my gold nugget.
Yeah, so Blanton's is actually out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Bullet.
No, Bullet. Did I say? Did I say
said
Blanton's? I must be thinking about Blanton's.
Blanton's is thinking about you.
Yeah, apparently.
That'll be on another episode. We're going to do the episode, the Blanton's episode. But Bullet, you said it's out of where?
It's out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Louisville, Kentucky. I think they got their own distillery too, right?
They do have their own distillery.
So it's not like Travelers uses Buffalo Trace. Bullet is Bullet. They're their own distillery. They bottle it and ship it across the U.S.
Yep, and I'm looking forward to this because Bullet, the regular non-uncut,
straight bourbon.
I'm a fan of just the regular Bullet. It's a good. I think it comes in at 90 proof. Is what that one comes in at, and it's just a smooth, easy sipper.
Yeah, I've actually had the rye too. I think we've got a bottle of the straight up there. It's about half empty too. I enjoy the Bullet as well. A local Kentucky bourbon, good price point, I think.
Oh yeah,
for Bullet. So, all right, so let's give this one a color. Let's look at this one. Now this one's a little richer. It's a little deeper than that gold color you mentioned on the Travelers. So this Bullet here is more of even looking through the bottle here, I can see it's more of a brick or a mahogany.
Yeah, it's more of a brick.
It's a darker.
Yeah, it's a darker bourbon. Nice color.
Yeah. Let's give it a sip.
Yeah.
Sniff. Ooh. Now this one here may have peeled back some nose hairs on me. This one here.
It's the initial smell on this one is hits you a little stronger, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely a little heavier.
So probably on this one, I think right off the bat, I'm getting definitely a lot of spice.
Yeah, a lot of spice. That's probably what's peeling my nose hairs back.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's 120.1 or 0.2 proof.
Yeah.
You said,
so it does have a little bit of
it's going to have a little kick to this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm getting pretty much all spice on the nose on this one.
I'll pick up a little syrup or maple.
Okay.
That molasses-y syrup.
Okay.
And a lot of times with the bourbons, we find the vanilla and caramel. You and I speak about. So Kelly and I talk about this all the time. The vanilla and the caramel. Those are so common because of the mash blend, I think caramels and vanillas come out. But this one, to me, I can get a little bit of the syrup or the molasses in it.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll pick up like leathery notes. Not so much in this one. I think you're right. The cinnamon, the spices are really kind of pulling you back.
For me, the spices are dominating on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's try it on the mouth.
Yeah,
and,
let's give it a mouth feel.
Do a mouth and a swallow. Yeah, buddy. You can start a car engine with that.
Now, on this one, it's going to be the opposite from the Traveler. On this one, on the front end, it was a little bit smoother for me.
I felt a little bit on my tongue, but I felt even more of it on the swallow.
Yeah, it was smoother for me on the front end on this. On the back end, I had a little bit more burn.
Yeah.
And as far as tasting notes, again, I think on this one, the spiciness of it is probably overpowering just about everything else.
You know, I still come up with that maple or syrupy taste.
Okay.
I think both of these, the first one and this one, I both pull a little bit of maple out of them.
Okay. Interesting.
Just on the taste, maybe a little nutty too. I don't know.
Yeah. It has it. You know, this also has a good complex taste. A lot
good
of
flavor though.
Yeah, good flavor. Nice complexity.
Again, bullet came true.
Yeah. Definitely a very nice bourbon for sipping. I've obviously never mixed this with anything, but I'm sure it would probably be a good mixture.
It'd be a great for cocktail.
Yeah,
and I'll try that next week. Maybe I'll break out the bullet and start sharing. I'll give you a quick another little shameless plug for my book of useless knowledge. That back in the early 1800s, if you ran into a saloon just to wet your whistle to get a drink, and you didn't have 2 pence or 2 cents on you, you would have to give them a bullet from your belt for a small shot of whiskey. And that's where the name shot comes from. A shot or bullet is what gave you a shot of whiskey.
Very, very cool historical fact there, man. I like that.
So that's in my book of useless knowledge. Should be out in a few months. So shameless plug. Had to throw it out there. Anyways, Kelly, let's stick with our theme. Again, traveling back east, after our heading out west with our whiskey. So we've traveled back east with Travelers. We've now taken a bullet, which would leave our Widow Jane. You get the theme. As you travel, you take a bullet, you end up with a Widow Jane. So Kelly told me a little bit about Widow Jane. I've seen them on the shelf. I've never been brave enough to buy one. I always go, well, do I want it? Do I not want it? And typically when I walk up to a register, I'm holding 2 or 3 bottles anyway, as you can tell by the selection back here. But you picked this one up, Kelly. And
I did pick this one up. This is Widow Jane. And this is one that I've actually been eyeballing at some of my local liquor stores for quite some time. This is actually out of Brooklyn, New York. It has on the bottle, it actually says, age 10 years. So we know.
So it's a 10-year bourbon.
We got a 10-year bourbon right here coming in at 91 proof.
So again, it's in that range. It's in that 90 to 100 range that Kelly and I really enjoy.
And, this one, not being made here in
Kentucky,
the great state of Kentucky,
right?
Maybe some people could be a little bit more skeptical about,
Kelly and I've got a lot of friends that are like, oh, if it ain't Kentucky bourbon, it ain't the right bourbon. But a lot of good bourbons and mash has actually come out of Tennessee, Virginia. So as we've went out west last week, we've now come back to Kentucky, and now we've got one from east. So on the east side of Kentucky, we've got one here from New York, Brooklyn. So for all my buddies up there in New York, you got to go pick up the Widow Jane. If you don't, Kelly will club you.
I'll club your ass.
So Widow Jane. So this one too is a dark, rich. I'm looking through the bottle because we got these new lights here in the studio. But this one looks really good just looking through the bottle that we've got set up here.
Yep, this one is even darker than the bullet.
It's like we've taken a step down each time,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. Got like a nice deep dark color on this. Maybe even like a mahogany, possibly.
Yeah, I'd say mahogany.
So let's give it a nose and see.
Brick mahogany.
Yep.
So,
So a very pleasant nose, and immediately right off the bat, I'm getting a cinnamon / cherry.
I get cinnamon nutmeg.
Okay.
And maybe not nutmeg, but it is kind of nutty.
Okay.
I'm getting maybe roasted nuts, but I do pick up the cinnamon. So
Yep, I'm
I
getting.
think every week my nose gets a little better. Maybe
Yep.
not as good as yours, but I do pick up the cinnamon in it for sure.
Yep.
So it's got that spice. It's a caramely vanilla. Obviously made in Brooklyn. I think that's the distillery, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Distilled in Brooklyn.
10-year bourbon,
So
91 proof. Let's give it a taste.
Yeah, let's give it a taste.
All right, here we go. Now that one's not bad.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, that one's not bad.
Um,
I'm going to go back on that one. Hold on. You go ahead and talk, Kel.
no. Okay, so on the taste on this one, right off the bat, there's no burn.
No.
There's no burn on the front end. There's no burn on the back end.
It's nice on the palate.
Very nice, well
Easy to
balanced.
swallow.
Yeah, easy to swallow.
So you guys up in New York figured it out, huh? You figured it out. Nah, I'm just joking.
Yep. This is really
Wow,
nice.
this is nice. So
even more so than I was anticipating it would be.
wow.
What are your thoughts on this one?
I like this one. It's there is a little bit of complexity. I want to give it that. Cinnamon, nutty. I really like it. Soft on the tongue, easy to swallow. It's not, you don't get the afterburner. It's not like it's burning your esophagus on the way down. So, I think this would be a great cocktail mixer too. I mean, seriously, way to go. You know, those guys up Widow Jane. So there we go. Now, I wanted to bring a special surprise for Kelly today too. So now that we've had our 3 cocktails, and we'll cut camera here in a second, and we'll give a breakdown of these. But just recently, they had an actor on TV, and he was talking about a new movie release. Not that we're getting a plug from, I wish we'd get sponsored from Netflix or one of these movie companies, but on Netflix back in 2012, I think they started running a series all the way up till 2022 of a show called Peaky Blinders. Now, if you know the show Peaky fucking Blinders, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't know. I don't think Kelly's seen any of the episodes. I'm sure he's going to start watching them. However, one of my holy grails was when I first found out about this show. I think it was during COVID. You know, a lot of us were stuck at home, so I started watching it, and I said, man, watch these guys. It's a British historical crime drama, believe it or not, based, goes back to 1800s, talks about how the Irish were used by the British, you know, in the horse racing industry, and how they ended up taking over, and some of the Irish gangs and stuff. And it's really, really classy the way they ran that series for 6 years. And so I really got into it, went back, watched the whole episode. But just recently they talked about on March 20th, a movie's going to get released, and it's about the early 1900s after Thomas Shelby, as the Irish would say, Tommy, on how he's dealing with all the ghosts and everything. I won't divulge too much into it, but I always thought about that whiskey that they're drinking, that Irish whiskey. That's got to be some really good stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then when I found out that there was a distillery that decided to do a bourbon called Peaky Blinders, I started looking high and low for it. I reached out to some friends of mine that actually live in Ireland. They actually make a whiskey over there called Peaky Blinders. I couldn't get it shipped here, unfortunately. Sometimes being in bourbon country, it makes it really hard for Kelly and I to get stuff shipped here. Most times you got to get it shipped to a liquor store, and then you end up having to pay tariffs and all that stuff to go pick it up. So in honor of Thomas Shelby, I found Peaky Blinders Bourbon, made right here in Kentucky. So this is my special tribute today. I've had it sitting up here on the shelf, but it is Peaky Blinders Bourbon, Kentucky straight bourbon. And I haven't done a lot of research on it. I did crack the top only because I wanted to give it a sniff and a taste the other night. So it's a Kentucky straight bourbon, and I think it comes in at 90 proof, so it hits that range that you and I both like.
Again, still in the range, yep.
But, you know, in those days, I want to say late 1800s, early 1900s, saloons started stepping back, especially in England. It was more the pub stage.
Okay.
You had pubs and taverns and bars. And so in tribute, instead of doing the Glencairn, Kelly and I are just going to do a tribute to the Shelby family. And we'll do a shot of this one. Mm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Boy, that one kicked me on the front end and the back end. But it's pretty good, pretty smooth.
Yeah, I didn't get really a whole lot of kick on the front end. I felt it a little bit more on the back end. Nice, smooth. Shot it so fast it was hard to tell. But,
well, that was just a tribute to the show coming out March 20th.
Yeah.
Shameless plug for the movie, but I wanted, since it was one of my holy grails, I did find a bottle, and I wanted to bring it up this episode just to share with Kelly. So
excellent.
We'll break it out in another episode in the future, and we'll go through all the notes and the hints and the flavors, the taste, and all that stuff on another show later. So, but for now, I think we're going to take a quick break. Kelly and I'll do our assessments of the bourbons, and we'll be right back. All right, you ready?
I think so.
Here we go. Hey, we're live. Hey, welcome back, guys. Listen, Kelly and I have done our assessment. We really enjoyed this week's bourbons. You know, last week we traveled out west. I've said this before, and this week we kind of brought it back home. We actually jumped over to New York with the Widow Jane. But I really enjoyed this week's bourbon. Travelers is a trusty one that I've kind of grown to love over the past few months. Bullet's one that you and I both love.
Right.
It's on one of my fave lists.
Yep.
And then, of course, Widow Jane, which is kind of new to me, and I think you've kind of taken a liking to the Widow Jane.
I think I kind of liked it, yeah.
On our breakdown, though, we've got our trusty bourbon book here, which we always do our flavor wheel, our color meter, and all that stuff. So looking at Travelers, we went with the gold color. Still doing my gold nugget here. Sorry, folks. Kelly and I have been enjoying these bourbons today, really. So again, showing the color on that one. The color wheel, we actually gave that a gold. That's got a real pretty color to it. I think it was soft on the palate, soft on the swallow. Made by Buffalo Trace. Straight bourbon. Now, they didn't give the age on that one. That was that NAS that Kelly and I talked about. But on price point, you're talking $25 to $30 for Travelers.
Yeah,
so
I mean
that's low budget, no budget bourbon.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very.
Anybody, I mean, tell your wife to stop and pick that up on her way home from work. Seriously, I mean, anybody with $20, $30 in their wallet can stop and get a bottle of that. And it's a real smooth bourbon. 45% alcohol, ABV, and it's 90 proof. So it was right in that wheelhouse that you and I like,
exactly.
90 to 100.
Yep. It's
a corked bourbon. So again, a good, coming from Buffalo Trace, it's a good bourbon. Vanilla caramel with some of the flavor notes that Kelly and I picked up on. I mentioned maple. You brought up floral.
I did. I got floral out of that. I didn't expect that.
Right. And I mentioned sparkling. You know, it's odd when I first took that Glencairn and swirled it a little bit, it was almost like just an effervescence of flavors hit my nose. I think that's why I came up with the term sparkling. It's not anywhere near sparkling bourbon. Well, it is in my book because I do enjoy it. But I mentioned maple, you said floral, so it was a very sweet bourbon. When it come down to our barrel pick, on appearance, we both agreed it was a 3.5 barrel. On taste, I went with a 4.0. Kelly gave it a 3.5. On the mouthfeel, I again went with a 4.0 barrel. Kelly went with a 3.5. So overall, I think we came up with like a 3.6, 3.5, 3.65, 3.7 in that barrel range. So 3.5 barrels overall on the Travelers Buffalo Trace.
And a very easy sipping. Yeah, very nice.
Very nice bourbon.
Yep.
So, and then on to the next, we had Bullet. Now this was Bullet's uncut. So this was potent to me. So it had a lot of kick to it, which was fine. And again, so Bullet comes from their own distillery.
That's correct.
Out of Louisville, Kentucky.
Yes.
And this was their barrel strength, or single barrel strength. I forget what they call it. Barrel strength, I believe.
It's barrel strength.
But it's the uncut. And it's aged between 8 and 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
So that's a little range there, and you're unsure. And it's because a lot of these distilleries, they take bourbon and they'll mix it from this barrel to this barrel, this barrel to this barrel, which adds age to it. If you got a 6-year bourbon and you add it to a 7-year bourbon barrel, you've just added another year on top of that 6-year that you were just aging. So anyway, it's a difficult process, the whole barreling thing. If you ever get a chance, please come visit Kentucky, do the Bourbon Trail. It's very intuitive. I think it's educational for anybody, and you get a sip or two. If you can find somebody to drive you, you get a sip or 4 or 5.
Bring someone to drive.
Yeah, bring somebody else to drive. Bring your wife while you enjoy the tour. No, I'm just joking. My wife loves bourbon, so she's going with me. Trust me. So, and the price point was fairly reasonable on the Bullet. I think it was like between $50, $60.
$50, $60, not too terrible.
Right. And then on our flavor wheel, we get, it's very well balanced. First off, it's dark. I skipped over that part, sorry. So it's a darker amber. I really like this one. I thought it was an amber, dark amber. You agreed on the dark amber points in the color. Both of us agreed that it's so well balanced because of the spices and the aromas and everything in it. I said it was nutty. You said it was extremely spicy, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I did. I got a lot of spice out of this, but I'm saying that in a nice, good, positive way.
And I picked up on the spice too, but I said it in a not so good way as it was burning my nose hairs. But it did clear my sinuses, so I should be good for the next few weeks during allergy season as spring kicks in.
There's the added bonus.
That's the added bonus, right? So nutty, very spicy. And when we drop down, so appearance overall, that dark amber color, dark amber, we both agreed it was a 4.0. On taste, I went with a 3.5. Kelly gave it a 4.0. Kelly likes those higher potent ones, and this one was 120.
120.1
something, yeah. I forgot to mention it was a 60% alcohol, so 120 proof. Plus or minus there with the little points and averages.
Right.
On the taste, I gave it a 3.5. Kelly said 4.0. On the mouthfeel, I didn't have a problem on the mouth. It was the back burn on me. I gave it a 3.0. Kelly went 3.5. So overall, we're going to go with a 3.5 barrel on the Bullet uncut. Now for the Widow Jane, we had a little mixed emotions on this one. Kelly and I both did. Obviously, it being from New York, and I've got some great friends up in New York. I didn't mind it being from up in New York, but it was just a little different flavor for me. Let me hold it up here for the guys again. So the Widow Jane 10-year, it's got a really great color. It's super, super dark and rich in color. But it's distilled out of Brooklyn, New York. Again, I didn't have a problem with that. A 10-year bourbon. I think Kelly said price point on this was a little high. It was about between $70, $75 on the price point. And it's a 45%. So the proof comes in it was 45.5. So it comes in at
91 proof.
So a 91 proof. A good bourbon, on the price range again, $70 to $75.
It was $70 to $75. And I'm going to go ahead and say on this one that even though it is distilled in Brooklyn, New York, I really enjoyed it. I know that may be possibly.
Well, I want to share that with this. I know where you're going. I want to
Yeah.
share this with you. So it is Kentucky, Tennessee, and Indiana bourbon. So it's a blend of bourbon.
Mhm.
Obviously, coming from Kentucky, it is a bourbon. We're not trying to throw this into a whiskey category at all. It's just distilled and bottled in Brooklyn, New York.
Right.
So all my Brooklyn buddies, hey, yo, beat you at a club. But no, so I mean, again, the color, we both said it was a brick color, so it's a great,
Oh,
dark,
yeah,
rich
nice.
color.
Very dark, rich. Yeah.
I picked up some earthy tones, like nutmeg, cinnamon. I think you and I both said nutmeg and cinnamon, so that threw the spices into it. Again, maple. I found maple in almost every one of these today.
I had a very, very overpowering cinnamon, very sweet, almost like going into cherry.
I think you did mention cherries on that one too.
Yeah,
So
I really enjoyed it.
So again, so overall, our breakdown on this one. So we went with a 4.5 on the appearance. Kelly went ahead and gave it a 5.
I did.
And I dropped it down to a 4, which breaks it down to a 4.5. But I mean, which is fine. On taste, I ended up going with a 3.5. Now the taste wasn't that bad. It wasn't that good as far as I go, but we all have our own taste and palate. So Kelly went with a 4.5. So that breaks it down to a 4.0 on our taste.
Yep.
And then for our mouthfeel, I went with a 4. Kelly went with a 4.5. Again, he was a little higher than me. But overall, we ended up giving this a 4.5 barrel. And that was our breakdown on our 3 today. And I really enjoyed this. You know, last week we went out west. This week we kind of brought it back east.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a big contrast from last week, but I really enjoyed.
And I brought my gold nugget, so apparently I found gold somewhere. Kelly and I enjoy getting together each and every week. And always remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy watching us. Tell all your friends about us. Hopefully we can get some more followers in the next few months. I enjoyed doing this. Drink responsibly. Don't sit here and get hammered. Unless you're a visitor at our garage bar, then stop on by and we'll do a shot with you.
Oh yeah. Drop on by anytime. Yeah.
Stop in. Anyways, hey, drink responsibly. You guys never drink and drive. Be safe.
Take care.
Take care.